Hey everyone, it's Kenji. I'm gonna make some sauerkraut quesadillas. These are something that we have a grilled cheese on our menu at Wursthall, made with Butterkäse. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's a German cheese, Butterkäse, Buttercase, and a Munster. And it's great. We serve it with this kind of gingery tomato soup dip. But the bakery that makes the bread, Japanese shokupan, it's called Anderson. They recently closed because of the whole shutdown thing. They closed and they said they are not reopening. So unfortunately, the wonderful bread and the partner we had in this grilled cheese sandwich is no longer available. So I've been thinking of either A, finding another source for good shokupan. If anyone knows of any good shokupan in the Bay Area, I'm all ears. Or replacing it with this, which is a sauerkraut quesadilla, which I think is going to be great. We do sometimes for staff meal, our cooks, many of whom are from El Salvador, they make pupusas, which are a stuffed, it's sort of like you make like a dough, a masa, the same out of corn, the same as you would for a tortilla, and then you stuff it with cheese or sometimes beans, sometimes pork belly, sometimes chicken. You stuff it and you kind of flatten it and then you fry it, and it becomes this sort of like, like a round, flat cake. And we've made those in the past. We've made them with sauerkraut, Munster, and Swiss cheese inside, and I think they were phenomenal. So I'm thinking of just adding they are unfortunately a little too labor intensive for the type of volume we do at the restaurant. But a sauerkraut quesadilla, this is something I've also been doing for a while, just at home for fun. I think they're excellent. So I take my cheese. This is a mix of Swiss and cheddar. And then sauerkraut. This is sauerkraut that sous chef Eric makes. He shreds up the cabbage and it's fermented for about 2 weeks, 3% salt. And then also these are sous chef Eric's pickled Fresno chilies. Although I think this is actually my recipe originally, but he certainly is the one who is in charge of all the pickles and sausages at the restaurant. So this is a batch of his pickled chilies. Mix that all together. One of the keys that I find when making quesadillas is to toss all your ingredients with the cheese. So instead of kind of like putting on the cheese and then kind of laying ingredients on top, I like to toss it all together so that it's nicely incorporated. So if I was making a more typical quesadilla, I might put in some shredded chicken and some chopped cilantro and some chopped chilies. Pickled jalapenos are great in quesadillas. And so you mix it all together, and then that way it melts evenly and everything kind of gets bound. Good pile of it here. I'll leave like a little border over the edge so that I can kind of press it down and seal it. And of course, it is okay if the cheese leaks out. In fact, one of my favorite parts of a quesadilla are the little bits of cheese that leak out the edges and get onto the griddle and sort of crisp up, and they turn into those little cheese crispies. Those are great. Sometimes, in fact, I purposely overstuff my quesadilla and push out the cheese as it melts so that it crisps up like that. These are actually a little bit overstuffed. We'll see how they come out. I did cut my finger earlier, rummaging around inside my drawer, inside this drawer. I was rummaging around. This burner wasn't igniting, so I was rummaging around for one of these skewers, and I accidentally sliced my fingertip on the carver. Oops. So this pan is preheating over moderate heat. By the way, these little things, finger condoms, finger cuts, they're called, are a cook's best friend. You go through a lot of these in a professional kitchen from accidental nicks and scrapes and stuff because you don't want blood getting in the food, obviously. So just some oil here. A good amount of it because you want it to really sort of fry and puff and sort of brown and crisp up evenly. And that's the sound you're looking for, the very gentle sizzle. Just like a grilled cheese, like you want a quesadilla, at least I do, I want it to sort of take its time so that the cheese really nicely melts evenly all the way through while the outside slowly gets golden brown and crispy. That's sort of the best way, for me at least, to make a quesadilla. I know, sometimes the best way is just to throw a tortilla with some grated cheese from a bag in the microwave. There are certain times when quesadillas call for that, and other times when they call for the low and slow approach. It really depends on what kind of mood you're in and who you're trying to impress, and maybe how many drinks you've had. Oh, let me pull out some of that guacamole from earlier. Not sure guacamole goes on sauerkraut quesadillas, but who's to say it doesn't? What else can I dip into? Some Valentina Black now. What do I go for? I'll just go with the Kupilik. It's a Mayan hot sauce from the Yucatan. My daughter is intimately familiar with the Yucatan because she loves dinosaurs, and she knows that that's where the big asteroid that may have killed the dinosaurs crashed. This guy, Earlywood. These spatulas, I really love them. They're flat, they're thin, they're made of hardwood, so they're beautiful, but they're also very sturdy. I've had this one a few years. I probably actually needs a good oiling soon. There you go. So that's what you're looking for, a nice even golden brown and crispy. G, B, and C. And then some salt on the exterior. This is, after all, a snack. I mean, I suppose it could be a meal. We're gonna go. These are called I don't know. They're called the Chef's Press. You can get them on I think it's just thechefspress.com. I find them pretty useful because they are, well, you can stack them and you can kind of put as many as you want, stretch out the length. You can stack them together, get more weight, or you can keep them separate to keep them a little lighter. They're very sort of a very versatile press. They also have holes in them so that steam can vent out, so that things don't end up kind of stewing in their own juices. People have asked, this is I believe it's a Matfer Borjat crepe pan. It's used for making very small crepes, but I find it ideal for things like this, quesadillas, making little pan pizzas, little egg sandwiches, all great on this. I think it might be getting a little too hot. Yeah, maybe slightly too hot on that side, but flip it back to the first side. That is cool. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to intentionally push out just a little bit of cheese. There we go. So that those edges, just a little bit. So that cheese is going to crisp up around the edges. That side hasn't been salted yet. Two sides of a quesadilla walking down the street, and one was assaulted. Now they're both salted. They're both salted. All right, let's turn off the heat now so we don't burn anymore. You can use your nose. People don't use their nose enough when cooking. Use your nose to tell when things are burning or not, and use your ears also. You can hear when things are sizzling versus, say, steaming. Cooking should be a full sensory project. One more time on that other side. Oh yeah, you see all those nice little crispy cheese edges there? That is the stuff. All right, I think we're just about done. This is also an Earlywood cutting board. To clean cast iron, by the way, if it's nice and heavy, you can just pour water on it. It's not going to really harm it. If it's enameled, I probably wouldn't pour water on it while it's hot. But you wipe it out while it's still hot. It should wipe out real easily with a sponge. If there's anything stubborn or super greasy, soap should not harm your seasoning. Seasoning is not oil; it's a polymer. It's polymerized oil, so it's not affected by soap, which really only acts on lipids. So you can use soap on seasoned cast iron, and it's totally fine. The one thing you don't want to do is let it sit around wet. So what I do every time I finish using cast iron, I put it back on the heat. Take a little paper towel, teeny dash of oil. It's okay if there's still just a little bit of liquid left on there. It's all going to wipe off. And then you wipe it around. Okay? And do it on both sides. Just like that. And that's going to protect the surface, and it's also going to sort of add a layer of seasoning. The best way to season cast iron is just cooking it a lot. Particularly, sauteing, frying, shallow frying, deep frying. Those are all things that'll help that seasoning get there and help you get that non-stick coating. And that's done. All right, let's see how we did on these quesadillas, huh? That is Sous Chef Eric texting right now. Here, I'm going to bring you a snack in a second. Oh, so this guy too. And then we're going to play some Dinosaur Escape. If you played it, it's good. It's a fun little memory / dice rolling game. All right. Oh, do you want to know the secret to how to get those nice cheese pull shots? You pre-cut it, and then you squeeze a little bit so that the cheese kind of mushes back together. You got it? You squeeze right there. You squeeze right here. And now, when I pick up this slice, I'll pretend this is a new shot, and I say, hey, look, everybody, look at how nice, look at this freshly cooked quesadilla. Watch how the cheese pulls. Ooh. Look at that. Mmm. Love it. I don't even know why we're debating it. This should... Absolutely, this should go on the menu. What do you think? Would you come order something like this at a restaurant? I would. The sauerkraut and the cheese together. Stunning. You know what would be really good in here would be if I sauteed some of Sous Chef Eric's pancetta and added it. Shabu, here. There's a little bit of crispy cheese. Tortilla. Let's get the pepper out for you. Sit. Good girl. All right, see you later.